Okay, loves, I give up. The time has come for something new. I've been sitting here with my guitar, playing and recording some songs. One song, actually, one prayer to the Divine Goddess and the Divine God, and to the Guru within and without. And I'm sitting here in a field of wishes and wildflowers, and I'm realizing that Spirit is really asking me to honor this new moon, to open fully to the new beginnings and to the cycle as we enter this fiery space of newness and oneness. I apologize if the wind muffles my microphone, but the wind and the sun are playing with me today. So I have been on a spiritual journey and on a path of enlightenment, awakening, deeper understanding, I believe, for my whole life. I don't believe that I came here without gifts and sensitivities that really made me tune in to different energies and different levels of existence and dimensions of reality. From the time I was a small person, I can remember accessing these gifts and these places, but not really knowing how to use them or whether or not to be afraid of them or not be afraid of them, these things. So over the course of the past 5 to 6 years, I've done a lot of really intense work. I lived in an ashram in New Mexico, in Taos, New Mexico. And during the course of that period, I started to open up to different gifts that I didn't really realize that I had. And a lot of those revolved around music and prayer and chanting and doing all of these things within community with others. So I had a very closed throat chakra as a child. I grew up in a very patriarchal family on the East Coast, and I was born and raised in New York, Long Island, technically. So I, came from a lineage of elders, male elders, who kind of believed that the children were there to be seen and not heard. And although their intentions were to provide us with knowledge and education and input and things like this, our creativity, our self-reflection, at least in my particular case, being a girl child, was a little bit more suppressed and subdued, and so my throat chakra was very closed. And as I began the journey of singing and praying and chanting in a temple setting, I started to unfold these layers of my inner self that I didn't really know and I had no awareness of. I always loved to sing. As a small person, my mother loved to sing, and we would turn music on while we were in the house and dance and sing. And I grew up with a lot of music, amazing record collection that my parents had, and I do believe that music, in my opinion, was an element that really held my family together, and it always gave us a place to go to when we needed to de-stress and open back up to a state of union and oneness and divinity, because music can really take you there, So, but this was a different kind of singing. This is a different kind of sound, and it truly did fear what was coming out of me. I didn't know this voice. I didn't know this energy, and it kind of freaked me out. So I had a lot of very intense experiences during those years at the ashram, and little by little, through lots of puja and worship and festivals and long hours of studying and singing and just kind of really practicing getting out of my own way and not tuning back into the reality of what was happening on a 3D level, because there's something that is going on when you're getting into this place of bhakti and you're practicing this devotional yoga, you're really letting go, and you're stepping aside, and you're choosing to allow spirit to just you to just be a channel, for spirit to come through. And so I would say that that's a really big core basis for me in terms of my music and how it comes through, because I had to really practice getting out of my own way. That's how my songs also have developed and how they come through, my poetry, writing, things like this. So another really strong practice of mine that started even before the days at the ashram was walking labyrinths, labyrinth meditation walks. And this was a practice that was primarily brought to me by my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, who resides in Tucson, Arizona, and she is still in her body, and still one of my favorite beings on this planet, but she no longer is able to walk labyrinths. So during the course of her life, she became a labyrinth facilitator, meaning that she would take people out to walking meditation paths and open up these sacred spirals for them. She carried a medicine drum, a bare medicine drum, and she would teach people to come to pray in their own way at these sacred spaces. And a labyrinth, for those of you that don't understand, is a spiraling path, a meandering path that takes you from the outer world to the inner world and back out again along one singular meandering pathway where there are no choices and there are no lefts and rights. Yeah, I mean there are, but you're not making these choices. So you're using a different part of your brain, which is allowing you to open to receive. It's your receptive side. I believe it's your right-sided brain. So it's not a linear thought process. You're not making a choice. You're surrendering, similar to what you're doing when you're chanting, So these interconnected practices in my life have really taken me to different levels of understanding myself and my union with the divine. So I wanted to share that background because I feel like it is very important, and it's something that's important for me to have others understand about the musical medicine that I feel I'm sharing, right? Because I'm not a professional musician by any means. I didn't go to school. I don't read music. I did a little when I was a child when I took piano lessons, but I don't do those things. I really was given a guitar right before I arrived at the ashram in New Mexico, and I learned how to play it minimally, one chord at a time, so I could chant, so I could sing, so I could practice opening more up to my throat chakra and just, really letting go and getting out of my way. So, my songs are simple, but I also feel that they're very profound, and that to share them now is part of the work that I am here to do in order to help arise and rise the divine feminine energy on this planet, and to bring us into greater balance with the divine masculine energy that is awakened and awakening, and to merge those two energies within. Okay, so not to just say the divine masculine outside over here and me divine feminine here, but the combining energy of the Shiva Shakti within. Okay, so here first, this balance first before outside, and that's a practice, and that's a big one, and that comes from not just sitting and going within, but doing that practice and then cycling that back out into sharing and giving and gifting. So that is where I'm at, and that is the seed that I'm planting here on this new moon, in this beautiful nature where I am so blessed to be at this moment in time. So that is my wish, and that is what I'm choosing to share today. And the prayers that I just recorded, I'm not going to share today, because that is not what the divine was telling me. The sun did come out when I was singing, though, however, so I know that the gods are happy to hear my voice and to hear my prayers, and to know that, my integrity and my authenticity really truly is in that connection and in the sharing of that connection with the divine. So, yes, I'm going to make this wish, and this wish is going to be to have this new moon, which I believe is in Sagittarius, which is also my sun sign, and my birthday is in a few days. So again, very powerful new moon for me. Very powerful new moon. So to be a greater divine masculine / divine feminine embodied on this planet that is able to cycle the energy within and without, and to share with intention, and to not hold back, and to be a bright shining star, which I know that I am, and bring that love and light to others on their journey. And I give thanks for all of those divine masculine, divine feminine energies that are sharing their love and light and their wisdom and their unity and their oneness and their understanding that we are all one. So I give thanks, and I will bring more music your way very soon. And I pray that this finds all of you well and in a beautiful and sacred space, wherever that may be in the world. Love and light. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Ma. Hare Hare Bambola. Thank you for watching. Blessings.